When Gail and John were kids, they lived in Auburndale, Newton, Massachusetts. They would skate and swim on that branch of the Charles in front of them. It was their backyard, and it was their wild place. They would, Gail said she would go down, and while the boys were playing hockey, she would just do figure eights. And she could retrace the same figure. Her goal was to retrace the same figure eight all the time. Across the water is a city park, and they had a warming hut in the wintertime with it. She kept saying a Lincoln stove or a something stove, whatever the heating device was in there, some wood stove. And they could take off their skates and hang out in there. And in the summertime, it was a place where they could change into swimsuits for, I guess, the public to come swim in the Charles there. At the inland side of that waterway was a wetland, and there was a path across it that all the sane people, the parents, would say, kids don't go walk through there. But of course their route to school was that way, and they could cut off a distance or something by going that way. So all the kids would actually walk through there, but never tell their parents. It was their big secret. We're walking through the swamp trail, they called it. And Gail remembers John actually falling into the wetland or something, or getting stuck, but he has no negative memories of that place. They all thought it was wonderful in there because it was their wild place. Then nearby also to where they lived, they could walk there as kids, was Norumbega Park, which is an amusement park. But it was a pay, like 10 cents to get in entry fee, but of course they didn't have any money as kids. They weren't given allowance. That was Gail's big point. We never had cash. And so over time, they had dug a tunnel, access underneath the barbed wire fence. The kids all did. So they'd climb under the fence and go inside the amusement park. There were all these penny arcades and things to do, and one of them was you put in a penny in a machine and get a postcard of a famous person, an actor or an actress or somebody. And then if the person didn't like the card they got, they would just toss it on the floor, and the kids would pick these all up and, oh, look what I got my, they would collect those, the cast-offs. And then other prizes through the other things that people didn't like, they would just sort of leave there, and the kids would go forage and get all that kind of stuff. So one day, they'd been going back to the park multiple times. There's this big Italian family. I think it was Italian. The last name was very long, but then the father was Orestra something, the last name. They called him a social worker was his job, but he was a big, heavy set guy, fat guy. And he decided to go with the kids to Norumbega Park and to sneak in under this tunnel under the fence. But he got stuck underneath, and of course Gail was like mortified. Oh my God, he got stuck. So, the whole discussion was around all these wild places that the kids would play in, and as kids, had this idyllic childhood of being able to just run around and play. And this Italian family was who they would play lots of games with. They're a big family, so softball, and they'd have fun with them. And he remembers John, during the discussion, had a recollection of the actual license plate of this man's car. And he told us the numbers, it was like 5 digits. It wasn't even a whole 7-number license plate. 108923. Could remember his license plate. And Gail looks at, oh, that's it.